everyone, and welcome to Mental Health Matters with your host, Dr. Matt Glowiak. Today, we're going to continue part 2 of our discussion on music and mental wellness. And for those of you who tuned in to our very last episode, we had Mr. Bryan Kuhn come here and share his story about how music helped him through life and part of his recovery process through mental health diagnoses, substances, and so on. Today, we're going to switch the focus a little bit. We're going to talk about some of the different ways in which music can be able to help just about anybody. Well, I'd like to say everybody, but I know there are some people out there who don't like music. Do those exist? Fortunately, yes, some of them do. But for those of you who do enjoy music, hopefully this is going to be an episode that can really help inspire you and help tie it into something absolutely great that's going to help for your mental wellness. Bryan, welcome back on the show, and I appreciate you playing a little ditty there as I was kicking everything off. I know we liked that last time. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story here in the last episode that we had. I know one of the things that we were talking about was living in the moment and being able to experience exactly, what it feels like to be present, be able to take ownership of those emotions and recognize that here I am in the right place and right time. As you reflect back on the last episode and sharing your story, are there any words that come to mind?
Just in what context? Just any.
Whatever context you
Yeah,
want it to be.
that was like I said, it was a very cathartic experience. That whole half hour, however long we were talking, and so right now, let's talk music.
Absolutely. So let's talk music. So we're going to take the spotlight off of you a little bit and
Yeah.
talk about music here in general.
Yeah.
So as I went through the introduction in the last episode, I was talking about how music is something that's a part of our everyday lives. For most people, we do listen to music at some point or another throughout the day. Whether you wake up to music to the alarm clock, something that you're listening to on the ride to work, maybe while you're at work you're listening to music. Hopefully you're paying attention to the job. Something that we like to listen to while we work out, helps us decompress on the ride home from work, while we're taking a shower. We know at social events, music's a big part of it, and it's just a part of everyday life. Almost everywhere you go, unless you live in isolation, you're in the middle of the forest by yourself without instruments. Well, I guess then again, we hear the animals making music. That's true. You can sing to yourself, we hear the animals, and so on. So it's almost saying that we can't get away from music. It's so ingrained in what it is that we do in our society. So when you think about music, what does music mean to you?
Like I said, it's like therapy. When I listen to other people's, when I connect with a song, it's like you're connecting with that person. Quick tangent off on the mental illness part, but one of my favorite singers was a guy named Scott Hutchison. He was a lead singer of Frightened Rabbit, and he wrote a lot about suicide, and then he ended up drowning himself about a year and a half ago, or a little over a year. And I just found myself like, why am I crying? I don't know this guy personally, right? I've never met him, but the music, there's that connection there. And, so many other singers and musicians, so I go to music for comfort.
Absolutely. Well, and like we were talking about the group experience and how cathartic it is, realizing you're not alone, that other people are experiencing similar type of situations. I think that's one of the things that really helps us connect with an artist, connect with a band, is when they're singing lyrics that really do ring true to what we're experiencing in our everyday life. And that's one of the fascinating things about music, because with music, again, it's discretionary. People like different types of genres of music,
it's all
different
subjective.
artists, very subjective. But with that, it seems as though there's a song for just about everything. I love, let's say, for instance, I'm in a really great mood, and I want something to put a little pep in my step, hype me up a little bit. If I'm in the mood to work out, maybe listen to some rocky music. Like I'm running up the stairs in the streets of Philadelphia, all that good type of stuff. If you're feeling kind of down in the dumps and you want to sit with it for a moment and reflect, you always go back to that Elton John sad songs they say so much. So whether I'm trying to stick with a particular mood that I'm experiencing, there's a song for it. Or if I'm trying to get myself out of a particular mood, there's a song for that too.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think creating something is always it's healthy to do. Not just music, comedy artists. That's like the key to it, is channeling that creativity into something positive. But then on the other side, as a listener, you know, that can be therapy for you too. Like you're saying, that you can find a song that fits the mood you're in or what's going on in your life. And even if it's just for a moment, for 3 minutes, it takes you away, you know, it takes you out of where you were.
Absolutely.
You know, and it helps you get through tough times in a lot of ways. Or you know, maybe you want to go dance. That's not me. You know, but there's dance music. There's every kind of music. That whatever you're looking for, you can find it.
No, absolutely. You know, it kind of ties into one of those therapeutic interventions that we have. We talk about guided imagery. You know, guided imagery being the type of thing where, you know, you close your eyes, you can take yourself to the happy place. And, you know, a lot of people share, well, I'm on a beach, on the ocean. You know, I can feel, you know, the mist from the ocean and everything like that. I feel the sun beating down on me and so on. You know, music also creates those types of images for us as well.
Right.
Sometimes while we're listening to a song, it could take us back to a particular place in time.
Yes.
You know, it could take us back to a happy place, or maybe, you know, not so happy of a place, or it can even take us to a place that we really want to go.
Yeah. And I was listening to an album that I hadn't listened to in a while, and I listened to it all the time, like when I was going through tough times in 2015. And I put it on, and I was like, wow, I felt like I was going back there because that album just reminds me of that time.
Absolutely.
And even though I was going through tough times, when I look back on it, I'm like, oh, I wish things were better. You know, maybe they were like that again. Like, don't take it for granted. Even if you're going through tough times, there's ways to find meaning to your life, I think.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, and this is, you know, why, you know, oldie stations, quote unquote, oldie stations are ever so popular, is because they help bring a lot of us back to, you know, a place and time where we're younger and so on. You know, I find it funny now on the oldie stations, they're playing songs from the 90s, early 2000s, early 2010s. And I'm like, wow, am I really here?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. And, you know, the funny thing, which is relatively ironic, is, you know, when I was a younger man myself, I still listen to oldie stations. I love the Beatles, Pink Floyd, bands like Chicago, and Led Zeppelin, and so on and so forth. But, you know, being able to go back to that place and time to when we were younger and think about some of those innocent times. You know, I think listen, you know, on the radio sometimes I'll hear the Real McCoy, you know, like random one-hit wonders like that, or Boyz II Men. It brings me back to those days of awkward sixth grade, awkward sixth grade dances where I was dancing like this.
Fine Young Cannibals.
Yes,
I'm just throwing out names.
And those types of things just bring a smile to my face. You know, I feel a warmth in my heart, and it's just like really cheerful and exciting. And it's the type of thing that brings people together. You know, as you're having to get together with your friends and you play music from your generation.
Right.
You know, the stories that you can share, the experiences that you had, and it just really is. Again, you know, keep going back to that word cathartic, but a cathartic experience.
Yeah. There's a comedian. I forget who the comedian is, but he said on a YouTube video of Beethoven, there was like 5 dislikes. Like, how are you disliking Beethoven? You know?
There's always going to be somebody out there who dislikes everything.
Yeah.
Sometimes even the better you are at something, the more dislikes that you can get, just because people hate.
That's something 10 years
Love
ago.
to hate.
I never thought about any of the social media stuff back then. So it's a completely different experience than, you know, 5 years ago.
Well, it is, and we take a look too, and we discuss music and that. I remember that song, Video Killed the Radio Star, and we really see now how the dance moves, way people dress, are they in the particular fashion, they look a certain way. You know, it's really something that's kind of transformed music. But, you know, but just taking a look at music in and of itself and everything it has to offer, it just does so much for the soul. So we've talked about, you know, the experience of listening to music and how it can be something that can help us alter a mood for the positive if that's what we're going for, can help us sit in a mood. But you also talked about the process of creating music and what that's like. Would you like to share a little bit about how you feel, what type of emotions are stirred when you're in the middle of creating music, whether it's instrumentation or if it's actually writing lyrics?
A lot. The songs I have from my band, we released, I believe, 5 of them. We had 7 songs that we recorded last year, and I had been writing those songs 4 or 5 years. Like, there were hundreds of versions of them. Like Heartscape's that song I played in the other episode. I started writing that in, like, I believe, like 2015, and it developed, you know, and it went, like, if I played you it from 5 years ago, it's a completely different song.
The Bryan Kuhn anthology is coming out one day.
Yeah, the demos, all the demos.
There you go.
Yeah, the B-sides. Should get the A-sides out first, though, you know.
They're coming.
Yeah, but, so yeah, it's a process, and some songs I can write and I'm done with it in an hour. But usually what happens is a line will hit me in my head, and that'll kind of just get the ball rolling. And I'll be in the shower and a line will hit me. I'll just write it in my phone, and kind of go from there. Usually, if I get that first line, it kind of sets the tone for what the song's going to be. So for Heartscapes, the opening line is "Roads I've been wandering." So that's what the song is. It's about me, it taking your heart and you losing your way, and that, I'm not sure what the word is, but that essence of the song, it was there from the beginning, but you want to develop the technical aspects of it, for it to be a better guitar part or for your singing to be better. But the essence of that song, when you first wrote it, it sticks with you, and it takes on its own meaning.
Well, one of the basic things in human life is that we're individuals who love to create things. We have this sense of task mastery that when we go out, we try to achieve something and we see it through to fruition. It's something that uplifts us. It's a source of accomplishment. And with that, we know when we're feeling happy and we're in a better place, the release of dopamine, serotonin, and you get that antidepressant type of effect here, where you're feeling really great. You're in the moment, you're enjoying yourself, and you're seeing this song come together, all your work, and that creativity goes so far. And one of the other things that we realized too about creativity, and I know we talked about this in some previous episodes when we were discussing physical fitness even, is that creativity also does help. It builds memory, it helps with concentration, it does help reduce and slow down some of the effects of dementia, Alzheimer's, and so on and so forth, because again, we're focusing our concentration on something very specific, something that we enjoy, and we're continuing to see it come together. So there's so many things that this benefits right here.
Yeah, Glenn Campbell, who was an amazing guitarist and singer, he had Alzheimer's, and he was still playing almost up till he couldn't speak anymore. But he was still able to play those songs, even though he had Alzheimer's. So it sticks with you. If the good ones stick with you.
No, absolutely. Well, and that's another thing too. When we take a look, and I'll save you all the science lesson here, but music activates different area of the brain that regular spoken word, would not necessarily activate. So we get this whole light up within the neural cortex that's going on, here and that. And with music, for instance, we have a bit of a procedural type of memory that's going on in terms of where I put my fingers on the keys, where I'm strumming, and things like that. That almost becomes completely ingrained into you. Whereas some of the words and that is more of a declarative type of memory. So in doing that, we are able to tap into different areas of the brain than we would just speaking.
Right, and I was telling you earlier about the new album I put out that's, actually it's coming, but I did covers. I did 14 covers where I sang to the original tracks. So what that did was it freed me up to just focus on vocals and not have to worry about, am I playing in time? I'm not a drummer, so but you take that, and it's kind of like setting up a template for you, and then it gives you some freedom. Because I never really played covers before, but there's so many different things you can do musically. That's the one thing, is don't pigeonhole yourself, ever. If you try anything. If it doesn't work, you move on, do something different. But if you have ideas, think them through, but just try it, record it. I record everything. When we have band practice, I record everything because you can always learn something from it, to make the song better. Like, this part you were hitting the wrong note or whatever. And so music is, if you're doing it the right way, in my opinion, it's bringing out feeling.
Absolutely. So music is bringing out feeling.
Yeah.
It's working towards something. It's helping tell our story, to either put our story in words for ourselves, and we don't necessarily have to share it with others, but it's also sharing our stories with everybody else. And a big piece of what you're doing here is a mental health advocate. Now, another benefit of music as well, and you'd mentioned band, is actually performing with a band, performing with other people, because here, we know that we're interpersonal people, and generally we feel better when we're around people who help us feel good. Like our friends, people are there to support us. We're distancing from the toxic folk, and something we could talk about a lot here too, but just being around other people. So the experience of performing the music with your group, the experience of performing your music with other people who are listening, how would you describe that?
the word I was thinking there is when you're working with somebody else, you want to be a cohesive unit.
Okay.
And so it's like there's an accountability factor there. Like, if you keep screwing up the song, you're accountable to that. It's not like if you're just drumming your guitar in your room and you can. There's no one else that's leaning on you. It's just you and the guitar or whatever, the keyboard. But when you're in a band, there's people relying on you then, and so it's. But I love it. I love the process of it. There's parts of it I don't like, and sometimes those overtake everything. And had that problem for a little while, about since the end of December. The last show my band played was December 28th, and that's when I decided I needed to start working on my vocals to get them better, to play live. And so the band just kind of drifted, and I didn't even know if it was going to continue. But then at some point I realized I needed to take it back, because it's been my moniker for 15 years. I started Great Shore Avenue. I was doing it by myself for, up until December of 2017, from 2006 to then, just me. It's a lot better when you have other people to work with. It's just a better experience. And when you are playing together and you're playing together well, when you're both in time, and let's say you're hitting the strum, he's hitting the snare at the right time, and everything. It's amazing. It's a great feeling.
Oh, well, absolutely. You're working on something together. You're sharing the experience together. You're holding one another accountable. And, music, like anything else, I mean, there's going to be some challenges that come along with it. We're not always going to hit every note perfectly. Some performances don't go as well as planned.
Right.
Sometimes for maybe ideological differences, musical differences, personality differences, and things like that, bands do break up, and we've seen some great bands do that, throughout the years and everything. However, that love for music is generally something that's always there for people, and the great thing about it is you don't have to be good at it for it to be something that helps with your mental well. You could be absolutely terrible, and you could just be playing your chair right here,
matter.
but it could be something that's enjoyable. And I always get a kick out when I'm driving on the highway and kind of peering in on random people. I see people belting it out and singing, people doing the drums on the dashboard,
exactly,
everything like that. And that's what's so great about it. Yes, you don't have to be good to enjoy it, and that's just something I think is absolutely fantastic about music.
Yeah, anyone can do it, and you just have to. A lot of it is believe in yourself. I didn't believe in myself for a lot of years, but I believe in myself now. And there's a fine line of confidence, arrogance. I know I'm always trying to get better, but I've also learned that you got to be happy with where you're at. You work up levels. You don't go from the bottom all the way to the top. You go one level at a time, and you build. And you need to be happy with that progress if you're making it, because otherwise, what are you doing? Why are you doing it to your life if you're not enjoying it?
Absolutely. So it's about having some patience, putting
There's
forth
a lot
the effort.
of patience.
Not thinking things are just going to come together overnight. And I know
that doesn't happen.
And some people are born, with a lot of talent toward it.
And they meet the right people, they get connected. But for most people, that's being famous is not something that drives me. I don't care about that stuff. I want to play the songs like how they mean to me. Especially, so I do the solo thing too. I record as a solo artist and then have the band, because I need that balance. But 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I was terrible. But I just kept working. Okay, I wasn't terrible, but compared to where I'm going now, I didn't have knowledge. A lot of it's knowledge.
Well, I love one of the things I always like to say, like my counseling students, and say just most any other type of discipline is, they have that saying that practice makes perfect. It's like, well, practice doesn't necessarily make perfect, but it'll get you pretty darn close.
Perfect practice, smart practice. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's got to be smart and planned. If you want to actually get results, you have to have a plan of what you want to do first. What kind of sound are you looking for? Do you want to be a rock band? Do you want to be an acoustic band? Different genres. My drummer plays metal. I don't play metal. I don't listen to metal. That's just not my thing. But I can respect that I can hear when somebody's good, and it doesn't matter what genre it is. But the thing is you can play whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So don't pigeonhole yourself.
No, absolutely not. And it's just it is amazing just how far music has come, throughout all of the years here. And what we say, I appreciate how you made the statement in terms of, even if there's new sounds that nobody's ever heard before, give it a try. We
Exactly.
always hear, especially with electronics, we always hear so many different sounds that are constantly being created. New things are coming across here.
Yeah.
And, people, especially now that we take a look at social media and everything, people who may not have otherwise had an opportunity to, hit it big or put their music out there are now able to have that type of experience.
Exactly. Yeah, to make that connection with other people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I said, I don't know where I'd be without music.
Well, how about in terms of music? So for you personally, how does music, and let's set aside your personal music, the music that you play and everything.
Yeah.
How about how does music on a daily basis, how often do you listen to it, at what times?
Most of the time, I obsess and I'm listening to my latest recording. But when
Okay.
I'm listening, I'll go to an album and I'll play the whole album through. Like I was saying, the one that reminded me of 2015, and but I would say I wouldn't listen to more than one album a day. But I think that's a good thing to do, one album a day. Just give yourself different experience, expose yourself to different kinds of music too.
And what types of music do you like to listen to?
I mostly listen to rock, indie rock, some pop rock, pop punk. So Foo Fighters would be a band that, I try to pattern my sound after a little bit. And I used to do it too much when I was doing all the screaming, but.
Well, I know we're getting close here to the end of the show, and I understand that you have another song you'd like to play for us.
Yeah. So this song's called Last Line. This is a song about being there for somebody. I have a friend who had breast cancer, and so a couple of years ago, and I tried to be there for her, and she was also there for me, and still is, when I'm dealing with depression. So this is just a song about, always being there for somebody when they're going through tough times.
Excellent. It's
called Last Line. One, two, three, four. Everybody's got their own. That's how the story goes. I won't sit and judge another man's woes. The relativity of it all. Break your back and leave you there to crawl. But I will be there when you fall. I will be there through it all. I'll be your last line of defense. I'll be your last line when you need to circumvent. I'll be your last line of defense. I'll be your last line when your head is all a mess. Hell, I will be there when you fall. I will be there for the long haul, 'cause I am ready to shine, your beacon in the dead of night. I am ready to go. I'm your one-man weary roadshow. Your one-man weary roadshow. I'm your one-man weary fade on me, don't 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 fade on me. 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 'Cause I am ready to shine. Your beacon in the dead of night. I am ready to go. I'm your one-man weary road show. Your one-man weary road show. I'm your one-man weary. You're one. You're one. Whoa. 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 Oh, 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 oh. Thank you.
Thank you. Again, another great job. Thank you so much for sharing that with everybody. Same question I asked you last time. How you feeling at the moment?
Really good. Really good. I haven't come down from the first part yet, so. You know.
Oh, so we're still there at that moment.
Yeah.
Well, I
that
know
was good. That was a good moment too. Thank you.
No, and thank you so much for making it here.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you, everybody, for watching this episode of Mental Health Matters with Dr. Glowiak and our special guest, Mr. Bryan Kuhn. If you're interested in learning more about Bryan's music or looking at Glacier Avenue, please feel free to visit his website, which we have here listed on the screen for you. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please email me at dr.mglowiak@gmail.com. I'd also appreciate if you would visit the Mental Health Matters page on Facebook. There you can definitely provide some likes, some comments, and please feel free to share. The more the merrier as we're spreading tips on mental wellness. Thank you and have a great evening.